1 minute before we jump into pick and ban, which allows us to look into draft in the way we can see. I don't even know anymore. Aragon, what are we expecting to see? Because now it is Dusty on the blue side. Do you believe the bans are going to be quite different? Do you think it's a run back to the Sona setup in favor of Natives? What is it cooking in your mind?
I think we're going to see some adaptation on top
Yeah.
of what we've already seen, right? So I think there's a world actually where Denvoxton says he's had enough and first pick Caitlyn, but I also do think there's a world where we just see a run back of the same stuff with the adaptation of a Seraphine band because you don't really care about the Sona on its own, right? When they had the Sona on its own, they whipped out the Ezreal Sona bot lane and it was just super underwhelming. So you ban the Seraphine early alongside the staple bans we've seen all series long, which are like stuff like the Graves, Gragas, Heimerdinger, and that's what I
Yeah.
expect.
Oh, the armor dinger. We haven't seen that one until
Not yet.
now, Don Jake. Is this something that you want to see, for instance?
Sorry, one second. I'm just getting a call. Hello? What, you're telling me that apparently Natives don't have any coaching staff for this tournament and the players are doing the draft themselves? What? Coaches are complete frauds and they're not actually like needed. You can just do it yourselves. Great, incredible. That's a wonderful call that I've just received there. I've got some very important information. Natives are doing it their own way. They're like Fleetwood Mac. It's incredible. What a beautiful story. They've gone their own way. They've developed their own drafts. I don't like them. I hate them. But I can appreciate someone reaching adolescence in their kind of their coalition, so to speak. And I think that's what Natives are doing in this series. I want to see them continue to throw curveballs. I think what Aragon spoke about before the break was we need to see what the next gimmick is. I think the next gimmick very important for me. What is it going to be?
Well, let's see if the Emmerdinger is going to be removed from this one or Caitlyn is going to be the first pick for the blue side
No.
unless it's Natives taking it out. So the mad scientist is no longer on the table. Let's see if Natives are going to follow that one with the sniper from Arcane. A lot of characters from Arcane being removed. Tell me,
love
Aragon,
Arcane.
have you seen the show?
I love Arcane bat chest.
It's I can't
Yeah.
believe.
I
Well, Caitlyn is out.
Yumi's going through again. Yumi's absolutely going through again, unless they early ban Seraphine. I think that's probably the condition. Otherwise it's going through. Importantly to note, they swapped sides, so Natives are on red side now. I fully expect them to use red side counterpick for hopefully clocks. I really want to see them get support counterpick like they have been in the past. But it does look like they're just going to go for the standard bans they have been all series long. And there's the Seraphine ban. So now I expect a Yumi ban because they don't have anything to handshake the scaling with.
If that happens,
Yumi here. Graves is open, no?
Graves is going to be open for the first time. Yeah, exactly what I wanted to bring up. Let's see if Natives are going to take that decision. And you see they're taking this sweet time. They're taking this sweet time. Like, do we take the cat away or do we take the shotgun away? I do believe the shotgun is a little bit more important because of lenses. Good time.
There it
There
is.
you go.
Oh, not the Yumi again.
I would like to see Stan on something else as well. Oh, Sejuani is also open for the first time. You switch the setup in with the Sejuani, so she's open. You kind of flex it, even though it's not a Kerberos champion, but you can still flex it away.
He has played a little bit in solo queue. Okay, so
Yeah.
potentially what they could look for is the Sejuani on Kerberos and a melee jungler, and a melee mid laner. We don't know because he has got games in solo queue. I remember prepping for finals, NLC finals, and he did play it there.
So the first one is locked in. Don Jake, I saw your face. You were going a little bit crazy as soon as you saw that one.
Oh wow. Well, that's a gimmick.
Can you spell gimmick? Yeah, I mean,
He was buffed on this patch as well.
Two M's.
yeah.
12.20, he was buffed. Just pointing that out. The Q is a little bit more powerful for the wave clear.
So the most important thing with Ziggs when you're playing a Ziggs composition, honestly, it's obviously allowing the Ziggs to perma push up in lane. But most important thing is that the team's all on the same page and they're taking heralds and moving around the map, taking over the entire game with the platings, And I like it. Natives, it makes sense. They work together as a unit, so I guess we'll have to see. I think it might work out for them.
2 picks on the red side. Let's see how Dusty are going to reply to this one. They already got the jungler flex top. It could be a top pick. Can land on its own. Landorf
I think
usually likes to
the
go
thing I
forward.
like about
Yasuo's
about
open!
Ooh, okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Run back to... This was the first day we actually saw Dusty playing on Division 1. That's when everybody woke up and said, these guys are quite good. They are, with this composition. So we already know Kirby's going to be flying that Sejuani. We already know what Lince is going to do. Whoa, how is the matchup between the Diana versus the Diego, though?
I mean, very likely what we're going to see is Yasuo trying to survive ganks from the Viego and the mid laner, right? That's what I fully expect to see. And then Diana's just going to power farm until 6, where they can play for that combo. Really interestingly, though, Aatrox has gone through 2 drafts in a row, right? Which is really peculiar, because we all know the state of Aatrox. Yep. But now he's being picked, so they've suddenly decided, you know what, we can play it, and it had to be into Sejuani, you know? Very, very interesting, because they can't play through bot lane, they've got a Ziggs. So maybe they decided, you know what, Aatrox fits it.
Yuumi finally being
the flex Aatrox, of course. It could be a flex Aatrox mid into the Yasuo.
Yeah.
Because they did flex it in the group stages of the Aurora Open. So it isn't a static top lane pick, although it does make sense into Sejuani, so I don't think it will be.
It's a free lane on the top lane. It's not the easiest one versus Yasuo because he dashes a lot, but it's still a reality.
I suppose it begs the question then, do you pivot on forward? Do you lock in mid and alleviate the... I don't think you value the flex that much. I think you just send the Aatrox top. As we spoke about earlier, it's such an important kind of stage in this draft, being that potential R5 pick for clocks.
So what I expect to see is something like a Braum come out for Nativz, because when you draft stuff like Diana, Yasuo, the whole team comp is going in. The whole team comp is going in, right? So you want to draft all in with that Diana Yasuo, stuff like the Nautilus, the Kaiser, you know, stuff like this to go in with the Yasuo composition. So Braum naturally counters that. Vex also offers that kind of disengage that I'm trying to talk about, right? I think it definitely does fit. But I'm not too sure, honestly, because the Lucianami comes out a bit scary.
For me, this is all throttles forward. There's no back button. There's no ability to click back on these gems. So for me, I think it's got to be something like a Braum, really. I think as soon as you saw the Diana Yasuo, a big question for me was how do you kind of draft disengage in a meaningful way? Do you think Nautilus achieves the same as a Braum?
So the thing is, they also need a source of engage, right? Their engage before this was a bit like shaky. I like to have a really reliable source of engage, and that's typically why Nautilus is picked. Also, Nautilus hook champions into Nami are pretty nice. The second you hook a Nami, you know, it's a bloodbath. So maybe that's what they're playing for. I don't really like it that much, to be honest. It's a bit spooky, and I think there's a lot to go wrong here for the side of Nativz.
So we're finally done with the champions select. I heard that one, by the way. I heard that one. Don't worry, don't Jake. So after the game that we had, the previous one, tied up 1-1 on the best of 5. Don't Jake, who's gonna take it and why?
Well, last game I saw Nativz pull out a draft from the bargain bin. It was like going to the DVD store and you pick up a film from like the £1 section, and it ends up being the best film you've ever seen. So I don't massively rate this draft either, but you know, my mind's telling me let's go with it. Nativz will win. There's no logic behind my decisions. I'm not a very good analyst.
They have mid-jungle agency, a lot of it with Viego Vex, right? Very, very good agency mid lane. They can bring it down. I mean, look, at the end of the day, when I see Nativz comp, I think it's a lot harder to pilot than the last comp they played. They had Sona Seraphine where they could just do nothing and just scale up and have a billion shields. Now they have to take Ziggs around the map, you know, play for that mid-jungle agency. I think it's a lot more difficult, and I'm worried for them.
Okay. We are on a good game for any team to get that leverage and put it on the match point. And also, it's a good time to toss it to the casters, Troublelink and J-Real.
We are back again for Game 3. This isn't a trilogy. We got 2 more after this, potentially. Trouble, the picks have been locked in. We're seeing a bit of a switch up from Dusty. You happy? You sad? What are your thoughts on this one?
Okay, so first of all, we've gone back to good old Dusty. This is when they made their breakthrough in the scene. We had Buckland on his Yasuo and Lincoln on the Diana. They've played this iteration so many times. You also have Stand, finally. Not on his Nautilus. I'm trolling because he's playing Nami. The Nautilus is on the other side. But I see Nautilus. I instantly think of Stand. That's how it goes. But yeah, this is going to be... Okay, there's 2 ways to it. When you have a proactive level 6 mid-jungle duo that want to find kills, and when you have a very hard shoving bully bot lane, that means that both of these lanes can actually bleed in the early game. If you get ganked, if your wave is not correct, like the Yasuo comes alive after level 6 when Diana comes into play. Before that, Vex gets to bully you around. Every time you press E on a creep, you activate Vex's passive, which means the poke will be massive in the mid lane, which means that for the first few levels prior to level 6, Viego Vex have a lot more agency as a mid-jungle duo than a Yasuo and Diana do. And as for bot lane, it means that yes, you're playing Lucian and Nami, but if one hook lands from the Nautilus and Snile souls that bot side, which he seems to favor in this series, you could end up losing summoners, which means your pressure goes away. So yes, Dusty have very proactive picks. Mid jungle though, after level 6, bot lane needs to always play under vision.
Indeed. We'll see if they do that. Obviously, as you said, Snake played a lot around that bot side in the second game, the game that they picked up the win. It does look like they might be going for a similar play as he is on the top side right now, but Linkus, Kerberos potentially looking for a late invade here. We are going to spot the Sedge, I believe. Relate was able to see that one coming. We'll see.
I want to say one thing.
Oh, okay.
Vex E level 1 is the most broken crowd control spell in the entire game. Because not only is it absolutely massive in size, but it also procs a fear, it procs her electrocute, and it procs her passive. So that level 1 damage that's coming in, well, here you won't see too much because obviously there was a shield from the Yasuo and the electrocute procced. But if you're invading and you're having Vex, tips for solo queue as well, level that E, never Q.
Okay, take the E. Good lesson for those people out there. You Vex players.
See, I OT pick Katarina, but my highest win rate is Vex. So apparently I'm better at the champion, so I can give tips now. You know?
Okay, fair play. Well, hope the climate goes well for you as right now in this bot lane. Stend able to step up there, get a bit of damage onto Clocks, and we'll see if that bot lane is going to be played too. Obviously, the Viego already onto that bot side, missed out the Wolves, going now for the Grump and the Bloom. Maybe going to try and get onto this map really early.
Yeah, but Snila, again, you see what we talked about, the mid-jungle, you have a lot more agency playing Viego and Vex than you do playing Diana and Yasuo, which means right here, Snila is gonna sneak around that bot lane again. They want to get these summoners down. Very squishy.
Oh, flash over from Clocks is going to try and get into range. Knocked back by the Ziggs. Yopper not able to get them close enough, but there's the hook onto Den Voxnay. Going to be going pretty low here. The minions assisting as well, but Yopper, just one more auto will do it. Picks up the first blood. Pressure bot side. We talked about it, and it is going to be done by Nativz.
Very crucially, yes, they killed the Lucian. Den Voxnay saved his flash, but Stend is flashless now bot lane. Again, extremely squishy. Has to be a target for Nativz for the time coming up. But right here, Clocks messed up a little bit the combo right there, trying to flash bonk someone with the passive. But thankfully, Yoppa played that Ziggs really well, bonked then Voxnay back into this fight and made sure to kill them off. Again, no flash onto this Nami means the second stand overextends. This could even be a 2 to kill as we have a very quick pause. It's most likely gonna come back to us. Hello guys, hello everyone. Again, you see the agency, Vex versus Yasuo. Snile gets to walk around, enemy jungle wraps around the bot lane, take summoners, they take a kill. After level 6, when you start seeing that Vex actually roaming the map, when the Yasuo is not there, when the wind wall won't come up, through her ultimate, you could see a lot of pressure towards that bottom of the map. So even though, yes, Lucian and Nami are technically extremely broken, if you do not play through vision, and if you do not know where the enemy jungler is, you're extremely squishy and susceptible to being ganked.
Yeah, Shadow Surge, obviously a bit of a nightmare, can get in from range, especially if they get locked up by that Nautilus. But we kind of saw in Game 2 a lot of priority from Silate onto that bot lane. We're now seeing the return of this again. But in Game 2, Dusty didn't really have an answer. They weren't able to find a way out of that hole that they dug themselves in. How do they do it in this game, right? Like, is it that they just send the Diana permanently bot, or is it that they actually just try and play around the rest of the map and then roam as like 4-mans into that bot side?
I think you have to play around the Yasuo. The second Vex doesn't have a Fae, and the second Vex doesn't have an ultimate. She's pretty much half a champ. You cannot step up in your lane. You can very easily get out-traded. So as long as they see that Vex doesn't have that fear passive, they can actually use the Diana Yasuo combo to completely annihilate mid. And let's not forget, Yasuo scales to the gods. So that later on these fights go, later on this game goes, Yasuo will be one-shotting people. There's a lot of squishiness on the side of Nativz. And also you've got SS1 that you can play through. So there's a bunch of knockups coming in from the side of... of Dusty, so you can use that especially after level 6, go towards that Rifthold up top side and try to force a fight around there when you have the wombo combo.
I'm hearing mid is important, which sets me up nicely for my next joke, you know? What do you call our host if he only played on Howling Abyss?
This particular one or any host?
The one that we have today.
Oh, keep playing. Go.
Archer Ram. There we go. There we go. That's how it has to be, people. That's how
Was
it has
right.
to be.
No. You know what? He was right because one Don Jake wasn't enough.
Hey. All I can say is it's a good way
You know
to keep
what?
people
I
entertained.
will allow you to rename to Don J Real. Legit.
Whoa, no. We're gonna, as I'm gonna steal this phrase from Man Like Don. We're gonna keep it J-Roll right here. We're not the same person. You can't just put us in the same boat. You know, that's not how it goes. You know, but talking about how it goes, Dusty not off to the greatest start in Game 3. If it's a repetition of Game 2, they could lose this one out. Are you seeing this as a bit of a worrying start to the game from Dusty, or are you saying, you know what, it's just round 1, we got a lot left in the game?
Yeah, I think like there's a bunch of scaling on both of the sides, right? But I've seen what Buckler can do on this Yasuo, especially the longer the game goes. So I think all eyes are peeled for that level 6 in the mid jungle duo from Dusty. Linkus is usually a jungle that's perceived a lot as very active, or as the
Denvox going to take a bit of damage.
very nice damage.
Ooh, Yopper dropping the bomb, hitting a beautiful shot there. Call him Steph Curry because he's hitting these threes. But right now, Denvox going to be able to stay alive, keep himself under that tower, but the pressure is being applied once again on the bot side, and also in this mid lane, really putting the hurt onto Backland.
Yeah, very well done. Also, the fact that he does keep his passive up means that Backland cannot use his dash, because the second he gets too close to Vex, there is one spell and only one spell on the Vex kit that you cannot windwall, and that is her W because it's the shield. But Kerberos might be under threat, as Lundorf is playing this so well. But Linkus, if he walks forward, might be seen by the ward. Lundorf, though, he has to cross this wave one way or another, and still he's heading towards the top side of the map, but that's not a level 6 Aatrox. That's if his flash available, though.
Oh, Linkus going aggressive there, going to have to dash and flash in. Linkus is now going to be able to get the stun onto Lundorf. They lock him up, and still not able to get there in time. So a nice play from Dusty, getting a bit of pressure on the top side, although saying that, Backland in the mid lane, now in trouble, trying to dodge away. One more auto, Windwall blocks it, one more Q, just going to go slightly wide.
Oh, he didn't have mana for the W. So he lands the E, he gets the fear, he lands the passive, but he did not have mana for W, which is, again, is the only ability that Backland cannot windwall. But the patience from Backland to wait for that last auto attack that would have killed him to use his windwall on means that he gets to come out of this lane unscathed. Yes, he will lose a bunch of farm, but right here, Ryle on Vex with no flash, it's gonna be so dangerous to walk up in this lane, especially since Buckland and Linkus are both going to be hitting level 6 very soon.
Minion there going down, the cannon minion, the most important one. And you hate to see it, you hate to see those get wasted. But
no one needs those. I think it's a myth.
What?
You don't need
Okay, we're gonna skip past that one.
It's okay. You know what? It's a meme because I never hit any in my solo queue games. It's like no one needs those. All you need is like champions. You're farming champions.
Yeah. True. You get 300 gold from a champion, way more worth than a minion, especially the cannons. So I agree with that. Mid lane was potentially going to be a diver, really able to stay pretty safe. No ult for Linkus right now, so no moonfall means no easy knockup to the last breath of Yasuo. Means it will be a very much living relayers on this bot side. We are seeing the roam of that Viego in that bot side driven, not going straight to the bot lane just yet. Actually going to clear some vision and maybe set up for an early Drake.
Yeah, absolutely. You have the level 6 onto your Vex, and Linkus is still searching around his jungle to try and get a level 6 for himself. Again, when that Yasuo-Diana combo comes online, it's extremely dangerous, but I would like to see them play towards that top side of the map. Go for the refill instead of going for that bot lane. Talking about bot lane, though, Clocks is taking some hurt.
Vox Snake going aggressive there, getting a bit of damage down onto Clocks, and I feel like, you know what, we can't underestimate this Lamy Lucian. We've talked about how dangerous the Nautilus can be, especially with jungle assistance, but this is still a lane that gets picked often because of its early game power.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially since Yopa did not have any mana in the pool on the Ziggs as well, they knew that if they actually traded it onto Clocks, there is no damage that's going to come back to them. So really nice trade right there, really nice awareness in the laning phase from their Voxnet, instead knowing when to take these trades. And again, this bot lane has recuperated all of their summoners, both flashes are up for both the Voxnet and Sten, which means now they get to play a little bit more aggressive in the lane, as Lundorf, again, he's been bullying Kerberos around for like 2 games straight, but Linkus is top.
Glacial Prison is going to be used. Linkus is top, but Lundorf does have the World Ender available, is able to proc that, is going to use it now. And Linkos, does he have the damage to actually win this 1v1? Kerberos trying to keep his range, and it is going to be enough. He wanted the Sejuani so badly, but he was not able to get the damage. Linkos picks up another kill, and it's now starting to prey on Lundorf, who was such a key player to their victory in the last game.
Very, very well done. I think it's the correct play for Dusty to play towards the top side of the map, especially that now that Vox and Zen have their flashes available, they can fend for themselves down in the bot lane. As a nice hook is going to land, but Vox is very low.
Voxy is very low. Voxy going to go aggressive. There's the damage though from the Ziggs. And Voxy himself is going to fall down. And now it's ADC or APC versus Nami. But they are just going to be able to walk away. Yoppa not going for more plays. They didn't know where the rest of the team were. And they didn't want to risk it potentially. But a nice trade there. Yoppa picking up one. And it is going to go to the Nami. So it wasn't them Voxy that got the kill.
That was a great trade right there for the side of Nativz. And the fact that Stand right here is trying to... He's trying to freeze the wave, but the fact that Yoppa right here has to stay up on the map a little bit longer means he doesn't get to cash in his extra item, means he's going to have to take a reset, which means he will be slower onto the map. And I feel like Dusty need to play towards that refill. Very nice reset onto the back right there for Stand. And look at that, level 6 Diana. Linkus is looking towards mid lane.
Relay is trying to get away here. Clock's trying to buy a bit of space. Backland are going to just dash away. They've still got the ultimates available. The hook, though, going to come in for Linkus. They're going aggressive, but there's the move. There is the last breath, and so much damage. Still going to have to flash away. The Ignite is taking over. Will go down. Linkus finished off the kill, and it's going to be a 1-for-0 so far, but they're looking for more. Backland going to go aggressive with the Close. Gets the knock-up as well, and it is so smooth, cutting him like butter. We'll be able to pick up another kill. 2 for the mid lane gank.
That was insanely well played from Dusty. And again, level 6 comes. Yasuo Diana combo, easy as, going in. Backland here is looking for the dive together with Stand, but Lundorf has actually rotated from the top side, and Backland is going to face check him. No!
Here he goes, looking to bring down the sword, but a good flash will get the Yasuo away. World Ender procced as well, which means he won't have it for his own lane. So, a bit of success now for Dusty in these solo lanes. The bot lane still very much going Nativ's way, but they are finding wins across the map, and Linkus is starting to become a bit scary.
Yeah, and I'd like to see what Rilla actually uses ult, because I checked and it was on cooldown on that fight, so I'm wondering what time in this fight he uses ult, whether he missed it or not, because he had absolutely no access in the fight. He had very low mana, so he couldn't necessarily help his team in that particular skirmish that happened around mid lane. You said it though, Lundorf, top side of the map, Kerberos with the ult and the Ignite up and available for him. Linkus is roaming around as well. He's taking the Rift out at the moment. And again, I'm really liking the fact that Dusty are sticking towards the top side of the map where they are currently stronger. And again, we'll get to see that replay towards the mid lane really soon. There it is. Relay right here. Oh! The ult.
Okay.
No, the ult is right there. But of course, you can't dash in at this particular point because you do not have a fear. And you see Backland also has a Q charged. So it would pretty much mean that you're dead if you do this. Backland, top lane.
Talking about Q charge, Backland's going to go into the top side. Last breath, and he will take that away from Lundorf. Another kill. This Yasuo is starting to become a bit of a menace on the Rift, able to start roaming around and give some ease to the Sejuani. And Linkus also just able to keep power farming pretty much the same farm as Snille. And Snille not having the same impact as he was able to have in the last game. They've really not been able to snowball that bot lane, but they are looking for more now. They're onto those plates. Maybe they could push them Voxnate and Stand away, but it doesn't feel like it's going to happen.
Yeah, and I feel like Nativz have lost their ability to pull the trigger, honestly. They were playing very aggressively towards bot. We said how Stand had lost his flash, so maybe Snille could actually counter, repeat gank that bot lane, take that Nami down, get more gold into your Ziggs, who's going to be extremely annoying to deal with later on. You drop a huge bomb onto the Nami and the Lucian, you get them extremely low, which means you get to play for a big objective with all the poke that you have onto the Ziggs. But the fact that Snille had to cover for the mid lane, because you know when Linkus and Backland have that level 6 with Diana Yasuo combo, they are going to play around the mid lane, so he's shadowing mid lane together with Vlogs. So bot lane kind of went under the radar, and right now that Nami and Lucian have actually caught up. Very nice flash right there from Lundorf.
Nice little getaway as right now on the bot side. We wanted the aggression. We're going to get it. One more kill over to the Viego there. Nice pick up there for Snille. As we are going to see under the world ender. Kerberos under tower just diving in, but the healing is pretty good. But Kerberos going to take one more tower shot to end it. All will go down 1-for-1. But a nice dive was successful as now in the bot side. Linker's going in. Moonfall going to be dropped. They're able to flash away. Yoppa and Clocks trying to get out of there. They do have enough to get out, but another pressure play from Dusty, making sure that Nativz are always on their toes.
Yeah, they burned 2 flashes right there. Both Yoppa and Clocks had to burn their flashes to get out of the Diana ult. But now Buckland instead are going to stick around. Nativz do not know that it's just them two on that bot side of the map. And of course, with no mana onto Yoppa, you don't want to be engaged into a fight because she's not going to be able to output any damage there. But again, the top lane, really well played from Kerberos, because even though he trades 1-for-1, that means that he gets the kill. And Lundorf lost so much golden experience that died underneath that tower that it ended up being worth for the Sejuani. He's already up in CS, he's already up in experience, 1 level up for Sejuani over than Aatrox. Now Snille's fancied his chances over a 2-level lead Yasuo, but he'll back up and he'll just take the farm on the tower.
Indeed, obviously tower gives you a lot of power and you don't have to be too scared back and respecting that one and walking away. As Roxy now rotated into the mid lane, and we also see the Nami onto the top side, so maybe looking for a bit of pressure onto Lundorf as Linkus once again roaming up here. Has had a lot of success in this lane. Obviously the Sejuani sets them up pretty nicely. It looks like they are going to be going for this tower. A few plates should be going down. The Herald going to be dropped. That is going to be first brick over to the side of Dusty.
Honestly, had this Herald not had to be dropped, because there's only 10 seconds for the tower platings and then they die, I think Lundorf would have walked underneath this tower. He was heading there, so he would have most likely been dead. But of course, tower platings right now are much more worth it than a kill. And then you get the pressure onto the second tier 2 tower. You have to force 3 members of Nativz to get towards the top side of the map to stop the bleeding. But on the bot side of the map, you'll see that Yoppa and Clocks will get a tower of their own as well. So all in all, it ended up being a pretty even trade unless Snille walks in.
Indeed, we're going to see the knock-up on to Lundorf. There's a move at last breath once again, but Snille able to get out. Lundorf now getting knocked up himself will be taken down there. A nice play from Linsas as he's able to pick up another one. And once again, Dusty pushing the pressure onto Nativz. It feels like they themselves have woken up. We said they may be a little bit sleepy last game, but they're here to play for game 3.
Honestly, that's the bread and butter. The Diana Yasuo, the anything Yasuo for backland in the mid lane. That is how we got to know Dusty and how they started dominating over in the NLC. But to be fair, you have to start paying attention to also this Ziggs. Yoppa so far, yes, he's very powerful. He was very powerful on the Ziggs, on the Ezreal in game 1. But the second he started joining the fights, the second he started overextending in these fights and started repeatedly getting caught, Dusty is so quick on the trigger to punish you if you overstep. So yes, Yoppa is extremely fed. He's about 1k up onto the Voxney. Let's see what he can do and how much pain you can put down onto these Ziggs. And of course, all eyes on Rilla as well, because I have not necessarily seen him playing around the Windwall. I think Backland has been extremely successful in stopping these engages coming through from the banks.
Indeed, they have. And also this Yasuo Diana combo always going to be a problem for the side of Nativz to deal with. If they want to group up, it's going to be a looming terror for them all night long. But it is going to be Dusty that go for this dragon now, and Linsas should be able to pick this one up pretty easily. No contention from the side of Nativz.
Also, we haven't commented a lot on the build that Linsas is following right here. The Sunfire was a very popular build before they made all the Bami Cinder items scale basically with HP. So they're more oriented towards the tank players rather than bruisery players, because it was like Katarina roaming around with Bami Cinder items, there was Diana roaming around with Bami Cinder items, but it's still a pretty potent item right here. And since you already have Yasuo and Lucian doing a bunch of damage, the base damage on Diana's kit is super high, that you're actually able to go towards these more tankier builds, because right here, all you're providing is entrance for the Yasuo. Once you've done that, either the Ziggs or the Vex die and you've done your job, but you also get to walk out because you're tankier than if you would build AP items.
Indeed, you would, and we'll see how that one does work out for them. As right now, Backlund able to walk away from the hook. Does
He's used
get
the wind
caught
wall.
by the fear, but there is the knockup coming in as well. A lot of damage going on to Backlund. It's going to be able to get out alive, looking for the knockup. Not going to be able to survive. Relay will fall down as well. There was now Devoxy turning on the Jets. Has the culling popping out. Not going to be able to do enough damage to pick up another kill, but a 1-for-1 going the way of, well, going the way of both teams, but obviously for Dusty, it's much better considering that they were the ones that were caught out.
Absolutely, and that was a 1 versus 3 that Backland was playing against right there. And it took 1, 2, 3 ults, an ignite, a bunch of flashes to try and get that Yasuo down. Now imagine this Yasuo in a proper team fighting setting where he gets set up for success by either his Setsuani or his Diana to actually reach the backline. Mind you, Relay on the Vex had to use flash right there. A Vex without flash is a very dangerous champion to walk out in an open lane without a tower, because you can very much easily die.
Yeah, we will have to see how they decide to play this out now that the map is so much more open. Top tier 2 taken down. They've already lost the bot tier 1. Mid tier 1, the last structure standing. Dusty potentially going to be looking with that focus in mind, or maybe they're going to play a little bit more around that split as Yasuo is on the bot side of the map and is becoming a big menace. Not saying that, they're also going to be stepping forward. Snilly able to catch them out, but here comes the team. Kerberos jumping in to save his bot lane. Lundorf getting stunned off as here comes Lindsas with a big moonfall. Catches out 2, now looking for more. Will the damage come through as Ziggs dropping the bomb keeps a little bit of pressure, but they are going to be able to walk away now. Dusty not claiming any kills, but taking a lot of health bars away from Nativz.
And there was a few ultimates that were used right there, including Lindsas's onto the Diana, which means the backland access is not going to be as easy right now for backland. The only one you have to the follow-up from is probably going to be Stand, Wave, and Bubble. So they tried there, and you see how the damage is lacking a little bit when Yasuo is not there. But I feel that for right now, you're doing pretty good. You have that Lucian who had to itemize towards that magic resistance, has the more Mortiers, but backland might get caught once again.
Ooh, the knockup there going to be coming through from the depth charge. Does block the hook, and now going once again 1v3. It looks like the classic solo queue, but Backlund not going to be able to make it out alive there, so they're going to be able to pick up this kill once again. And they've caught him now twice on the roaming. Yes, they're having to use a few ultimates, but they are successfully getting these picks, and it is giving them a bit of momentum. Although saying that, Lindsas going to be able to drop that Herald. Will get a charge onto mid, as now going up into the top side. Relay is going to be pulled back with the Moonfall, and goodbye. It's it to the Vex.
Honestly, you don't have flash, you're not a champion on this champion. I've been the recipient of a lot of violence when I haven't had flash a lot of times in solo queue. Talking about solo queue.
Ooh, right now, TP going to be coming through. There's the culling clock's going pretty low. Good knock up there from the tidal wave as in comes Kerberos to clean up. They take 1, and now Lindsas without ult going to be stepping forward, gets a lot of damage down. Lundorf, though, able to pop the world ender will be a little bit of a scary prospect to step forward into and will force them away. But once again, Dusty coming out on top from these trades. They're 5k gold in the lead, and they're really starting to show it.
Yeah, and if we look towards where this gold is lying, if we can please toggle over to the gold, I think a lot of it will be, will be going towards that Diana. But look at the mid lane difference as well. All of these farming, having 2 kills, having 3 assists, has put that Yasuo 3,000 gold up into that Vex. So this mid jungle duo is going to massively hurt unless they manage to keep on repeatedly punish backland trying to get more items on a side lane, which is exactly what he's looking for right now. He's working towards that Infinity Edge as his second item. He's got the Zeal in there for that extra crit. So he's looking to complete his second item, trying to farm his way up to it on a side lane, but there's 3 members of Nativz towards the top side. Make it 4. Make it 5.
Backlund, we've been here before, you know. I feel like we're watching a replay right now because here we go. Another 1v3 for the Yasuo. We'll be able to turn it around. He gets the knockup onto Snilly, but there's the depth charge. There is the Darkened Blade. Once again knocked into the air. Will be taken down, but it does give his team opportunities. They're able to get the tier 1 in the mid. They're looking for the tier 2s in both mid and bot lane, and then they could run to this Drake. And unfortunately, for the side of Nativz, it is Infernal Drake, which means things are just going to be getting hotter and hotter if Dusty keeps this pressure.
Oh, that was huge from Dusty right here. You are going to sacrifice your Yasuo any day for tier 2 mid and bot. Literally any day. But the problem is that what I found very funny is that when Backland died, he pinged. He was like, what is everyone doing up here? They don't need 5 members to kill me, and he was right. 3 members have been more than enough, but every time we've seen him struggle with 3 members. But it seems like having the Aatrox there, getting that kill onto the Aatrox, it might give a little bit more agency on that AD damage department from Nativz, because so far it's actually Yopa dealing a lot of damage on the side of Nativz, which is very AP heavy. And as you can see, there's a lot of anti-AP itemization coming in from the Diana, from the Sejuani. More of my mortars locked in for the side of then Voxnet as well. So that AD department needs to show out for the side of Nativz.
It does indeed, and we will see if they can get it done. Right now, they are weighing in a push, and we'll see if they do catch out anyone from Dusty. It doesn't look likely as now Kerber is actually going to be going aggressive there. Does find the Glacial Prison, and Relay could be in trouble. We can see a big bomb dropped from Ziggs. There's the knockup. There's the last breath, and breathe no more will Relay. He gets taken down, and they're turning onto the Baron.
Yeah, honestly, right there, he could have feared Sejuani with the W midway through that dash to not get knocked up, which means Sejuani never gets to touch you and flash away. But Relay right there, a little bit slow on the reflexes, ends up going down the same way as this Baron is going down.
Lincers looking for a potential steal, but there is the Moonfall! Lincers jumping straight in, still in big trouble. Now getting caught out, will be dropped by Buckland. He's finally with the team and causing mayhem. Clock's going to get stunned up. Another kill going the way of Dusty, and they are just able to keep the pressure. It's just like we're watching Game 2. They're doing exactly what Nativz did to them, but it is catastrophically worse because they are so far ahead.
Oh, no.
One more knock-up there, gives another last breath. Yopa trying to run away, but it's only a matter of time until he gets caught. Here comes Relay, but it might be a little bit too late. Gets the Yasuo, now looking to go onto Sten, but may not be able to get away. Gets stunned up by the Sejuani, but a good flash takes it back over the wall. A bit of a win interaction, but Relay is now running away from the Sejuani, and I don't think you're going to be going very far. Goodbye to the last member that was alive from Nativz.
Honestly, that was so well played by Stent. He went until the last second where the R connect, until Vex lands, and he knew that Rilla did not have his passive fear up, which means he flashes over the wall and he evades the consequent damage coming in from Vex's kit. Really freaking well played right there from Stent, completely understanding how Vex works as a champion and how to evade the damage. 2-0 and 8. Honestly, playing against this team as a Nami, a very squishy champion with no flash for most of the game, having 0 deaths, having contributed in most of the kills for your team. Massive performance right here from Stand. We usually see him on Nautilus's and Engaged champs, but 3 games now with the Yuumi and the Nami, he's done amazingly well, and Nativz have their backs against the wall. The only member who's performing pretty well right here, I would have to say, is Yopa, but he's barely scratching the side of Dusty. Their itemization is really difficult for Ziggs to penetrate through with all that magic resist being built up.
Yeah, with how destructive they can be on the front line, they're not giving you much spaces. Once again, they're diving in. Moonfall from Lincers gives them that opening every single time. We're going to see London TPing into a real rough spot. Going to try and run away. He's going to be able to get out of there with the world ender, but gets frozen up. And Girls is just tanking this tower for fun. It looks like a back massage to the Sejuani, as once again they pick up 2 more kills. They're now going to be able to put pressure onto that Baron, and I don't know if Nativz can contest this time.
Yeah, and Kerberos is going to back. He's most likely going to be TPing into this Baron. He wants to be tanking this one up himself. He's going to reset right here, possibly grab an item. It's not going to be the case. He's just going to TP straight to the feet. Doesn't have an item available. It's only Lundorf, Rilla, and Yopa onto the Ziggs. What can they do? They do have Ziggs ult. They have Ziggs ult. You can try and steal.
Oh, Steph Curry in the house. He's not going to be able to get it. Lundo now in trouble. Gets chased down. Will be picked up immediately. And Dusty take the Baron. They take another kill. They take more gold. Now they're up by 13k. Is there a way for Nativz back into this game?
I mean, you'd have to cash in on one of these bounties and another bounty and another bounty and another bounty and then do it again and then try to stop the soul from going over and then maybe go for Baron. And it's very difficult because the second you try to face check this Dusty, that's what happens to you. They have so many different ways into getting backland onto this backline, into getting backland on the desired target. He has a plethora of choices of which CC he actually wants to follow through into a fight. You want the bubble, you want the knockup from the Sejuani, you want the knockup from the wave, you want the knockup from the Diana combo, like anything you want, you can choose to follow up on. And right here, they've synced up 2 waves, they're pushing into towers, they're gonna follow up on the bot lane tower, they still have a wave in the mid lane if they wanna follow through, which is coming pretty slowly, but right here, you can just slap Nativz with your items because you have that many more than them.
Yeah, Backland staying a little bit longer than the rest of the team, will be able to walk out. Not going to put itself in a 1v3 situation again just yet. But here goes Snille looking forward, but going to be warded away there. Linsat's just so dangerous right now. Any time that the Moonfall could be procced, you have to be scared of your Nativz, and they're going to keep pushing in on these towers. They're looking for this tier 3 in the mid. They have the Baron up wave, and they're just going to keep putting their money where their mouth is, basically.
Yeah, but absolutely. You can just brute force yourself in. You're right here, 13k up in gold. You've got 2 waves. The only problem is that the top lane wave is stuck very close to that inhibitor tower, but you can back here, you can go for the soul, you can actually brute force a fight. If you see anyone overextending, you engage upon them. But I think the correct move right here for Dusty is grab that dragon. You never know what happens. You want to be on soul point no matter what, and then you have more than enough time on your Baron buff. It's like a quarter left of it, and you see that Kerberos and Sten have already respawned. They're gonna start pushing that top lane wave, and as you will see, very clever from Nativz as well. They know that this last wave that's gonna be pushed towards the top side, so they're gonna be trying to establish some vision on the top corner of the jungle.
Break number 3 for Dusty. Soul points, some would say. 5 minutes until the Infernal Soul, and I feel like if they do manage to get the Infernal Soul Drake, the chances of Nativz winning are era gone.
Wow. You know what? I wish he would actually listen to that, because we've had plenty too many puns, and I've not even made a single one, man. But you know what? I'll give it to you. That was a good one. That was a good one.
You just got just start, get in the mix, you know, get some in there, you know, like don't leave it all to me.
I don't know how many pun makers the viewers can handle.
Oh, okay. You're saying too many cooks spoil the broth, kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. And I don't want to ruin the food, you know.
Yeah. I respect that. I respect that. Well, we'll see. Maybe it's your turn in game 4, but we'll see who takes the lead before then. Right now, Backland is stepping up to the wall, basically saying, Nativz, you know what? If you want me, come get me. But obviously, his team is very much next door, so could come running in for the help. Right now, Nativz, though, push very strongly into their base. They're going to be pushing this top wave now from Dusty, and it should lead to some potential pop-off play, or maybe just taking the tower.
Linkas is looking, he sees the carries.
Princess going forwards, gets on the Snille, not going to prop the Moonfall just yet. They're just going to try and take him down for free. They are going to lose one, though, and maybe they're biding their time a little bit too long. They've gone 1 for 1 so far, but there's the Moonfall, drops down. That's going to be 2 more gone. Clock's trying to hold the line. In goes the Vex. Relay, though, just going to be immediately removed from the game. That is going to be an ace in the base. They bought some space to go straight for the Nexus at quick pace.
Actually, this was a very interesting play, and if Dusty were not potentially 15,000 gold up, this should have gone very south very quickly. I think the play was initiated because they had the extra items, and because they had the extra levels, and because they had the extra experience, and because they had the extra damage. So when you have all this extra AF stuff, you're more than welcome to die 50,000 towers and lose a couple of teammates on the way.
Yeah, looked a bit ropey. Some would even say soapy, because they almost slipped up on that last play. You know, it was pretty close for them. I can see in your face, you're just like, I just want this guy to stop making the jokes. But you know what? I'll do you that honor. Let's hand it back to the Analyst Desk to see what they made
There's
of Game
more
3.
puns there, guys. Don't worry.
I'm with you, Treble. I feel you. We're both suffering at this moment. No, I'm kidding. Another victory for Dusty, and we have a lot to digest on this specific one, because this is Dusty. This is Dusty coming back. So let's talk about the fact that on the Champion Select, they went back to what we know them for and what they showed during the summer split, and how good that is.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, I really like the composition, right? I've been hyping up the Yasuo combos for both teams since the pre-show. Both of these teams drafted it in Aurora Open, and they're both extremely flexible, and they love these compositions. So the fact that they drafted it, the ease of execution for the side of Dusty compared to the ease of execution for the side of Nativz, you know, that gimmick they've drafted Ziggs bot lane with a Vex, you know, coming out. I really like Dusty's composition just because of how like easy it was to pull the trigger at level 6 at Herald and stuff like this.
So it seems like a composition is perfect, but Don Jake, it still seems like there's one area of Dusty that is getting a little bit outclassed. Can you talk to me about that one?
I think outclassed is a strong qualifier.
Wow,
but
you saying that?
but if we're being honest,
Yeah.
there is a little bit of a gap in the bot lane. I think,
Mhm.
especially for me, I think Denvoxney's put on some relatively shaky performances in this game in the last couple
Okay.
games. I think dying to some early ganks, maybe not feeling it quite today. But Yopper and Clocks have been a very strong 2v2 for a long time. I remember even before they were on Nativz, they were taking down a lot of Div 1 kind of stalwart sides. In that the qualifier tournament that was before the formation of Div 1, Div 2. These guys were doing a real job. I think they were on, I want to say M&M at that point. Could be wrong. Someone can crucify me if I'm completely wrong there. But they were taking out some really quite prolific bot lanes, and I think these guys really quite a tangential unit to this team. So I'm glad that they're able to show up. Although the score isn't exactly in their favour, they are facing do or die time. I think they can at least go away from this. It's actually Yopper's birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday to him in advance. I do my research, don't worry. Definitely did just find that out from Leaguepedia 20 minutes ago. But I think they've done a very good job of shutting down Den Voxner, who for me is like probably one of the leading ERL AD carry players at the moment. Like top 8 at EU Masters, one game away from
Yeah.
taking it from Exakick and DOS. I think they can be very proud to be sticking it to them this series.
So it's a really good show up from Nativz, but then we have to highlight the jungle in the mid synergy Aragon. This is something that you were talking at the beginning of the show. The fact that you wanted to see the synergy between Linsa and Backland. I don't think it's only Yasuo Diana. This was just a way to prove it to our faces like,
Yeah.
bam, there you go, synergy completed. But this is the way. When they wake up, it's just smooth.
It's just so clean, right? Like every single time I watch their individual mechanics, how they skirmish, how they use their cooldowns and they synergize, how they interrupt everything like that hook right there to actually outplay 2v3 and make little micro outplays, you know, like, and then you take Stend flashing over the wall to avoid a Vex. Everything in their skirmishing is so crystal clear. It's insane. They double kill with this very simple win condition, which they can then convert into, you know, they can convert into Rift Heralds, into topside dives, into all of this.
So if tell me.
My mum's at the door. Hello?
So if Dusty is supposed to
Thank you so
win,
much.
do you want to take a pause for
Do you
you?
want to say hello to Stream? Yeah, that's Archeron.
Pleasure.
He's a very happy Portuguese man. He does the NLC. That's Aragon, who I was working with in Berlin when I went there. Do you have any words for any of the viewers that are watching the NLC Aurora Cup today?
I think you are a fantastic team. I really do feel that you're on something. You've got great sort of diversity, different talents, different ages, different styles.
Yeah, great
Tell her
stuff.
she said-
That's a
tell her-
wonderful
Thank you
ad.
so
You can
much.
use that
Tell her
NLC.
she's lovely and thank you.
That was lovely.
Aragon says you're lovely and thank you. Thank you so much. Right, that's. He said you
Aw.
reminds me of my brother. You said apparently you look like my brother.
That made me
That's
happy,
quite enough,
though.
Mum. That's quite enough.
I don't
Thank
think
you.
I look like your brother, but it's okay.
That made me really happy, though. That was a heartwarming moment. I kind of lost a train of thought, but okay, if Dusty wants to win this one on the cleanup, on the 3-1, for instance, is this where the synergy should be happening in between the team, like the jungle and the mids?
100% for me.
Okay.
I feel like these two very much are piercing phalanx for this team. A lot of the time, I think their success in the summer split did come from their coordination as a unit to be able to play on that. I remember literally the Telestrator segment that me and Aragon did. We spoke about how a lot of the precise timers that Linkers can play on is precipitated by his laners. A lot of that does come from the support role as well, but I think mid being able to go on a priority, be able to play around that as well is very important. They're able to do that this game 100%, and I think if they can continue to do that, I think it comes from side selection again. I think you want to be keeping yourself on blue side as much as possible. I would be very surprised. Just got that from production. Nativz on blue again. No surprise.
Yeah.
I think this is a chance for Nativz to potentially bounce back, but we'll have to see.
Okay, so we're going to toss it now for a little break so everybody can now be happy while on the break. And I'll see you soon, everyone. Don't go anywhere.